most entrepreneurs, they would want to make money really quick.
So what exactly failed and what did you learn from it?
The hardest part is on business side.
So how important is tech?
People are ready. Yeah. Like that person has not even opened login screen. Yeah. They've just seen it like kali sana.
Miss Jackson, your best friend.
Utafika mbali. Well, if you get people to pay you $1 for your MVP, you've made it.
How do I know if I'm solving the right problem?
The lowest moment for me to date as an entrepreneur.
If you have a startup, you might not be alive to see 5 years. My aim was to get.
Is it about you or is it about the people that you're solving problems for?
Prominent people in the innovation industry in Tanzania. Hey. My name is Margarita, and this is the BeAgile Podcast, a platform where we share experiences on how you, as an entrepreneur, a business leader, or an innovator, can build and scale an impactful digital solution. And today, I am humbled to be interviewing one of the most prominent people in the innovation industry in Tanzania. The guy has over 10 years of experience in building over 6 very successful digital solutions that go across a lot of countries in Africa. I'm personally, I've learned a lot from working with him, and I believe he has a lot to share. So, drum roll. Guys, here is Grayson Julius. Grayson, welcome to your own show.
You had to say that.
I have to. So fun.
Thank you, Margarita. Pleasure being here. Feels good to be on this side.
Nice. Okay, so just to get this started, can you share what your journey has been like so far? Probably start with a list of what are the most impactful digital solutions, ones that not only touched the life of others, but also touched your life as you were working on them, and how was the experience? Just a few.
From our line of work at IPF Software, we get involved in building so many digital solutions, and we really ventured into building impactful digital solutions. So beside the one that we get to build ourselves in-house, other are client and partner solutions, and we get to get deep into helping the solutions really scale, not from only engineering point of view, but as well, from a business point of view. Some of the DRS closest solutions, not in any particular order. I'll start with Nigeri platform.
Wow.
So seeing the Nigeri platform founded by one of very amazing lady I like so much, Lilian Madeja. She found Nigeri, and it was like it was a very rough idea. It was all over the place, and like she thought it was a very simple solution, but looking at it now with over 30,000 active users, it's really amazing to see how it has come up together for the past 80 years. And for me, it is the impact that the solution is making in the employability space and HR space. It's really amazing to see that idea coming from just an idea from stick notes to the solution that it is now. That is fast. Then it will be Chomoka platform. This one I manage this project hand in hand with some of the coolest product owners, I'll say. To mention few, Karen Van der Gag, she managed the product from a while, but worked with amazing people in the team, Rebu, Harriet, Steve, and other people around, and Christian, who founded the solution, Chomoka, by Care International. So it was, I believe, from 2017, if I recall very well. The solution came in and it was used in Tanzania with very few people. By the way, it is a VSLA platform that enables women, mostly it was focused with women, to empower them financially, the Vikoba thing. So it is digitizing their ledger forms and everything in between that. So the solution came and started in Tanzania with few groups, helped the product to scale in Tanzania, grew to 2,000 groups across 5 countries, 3,000. We scaled it across Ghana, Kenya, Rwanda, and really amazing because, sitting behind computers and building up a solution on just codes and everything probably would have not been such meaningful than getting to the ground and getting to really being involved in research and building up, helping the team, the business team to come up with new features and everything and looking at what we are really solving. I remember the team once traveled to like rural Tanga, the interior, and they really, what they saw and what they found there, how the solution meant to the people using it. It was really touching, I'll say. Really, really touching to see how something that we've built impacting people's lives.
Nice.
I'll say those two dearest from client side. From in-house, we have built Biashara Plus, and this was our second solution after failing with the first one. It is not very much known in the ecosystem out there, but it is for very specific niche of people who are doing network marketing business, specifically for Forever Living, Tanzania, and East Africa generally, and Southern Africa. It was really like a joke. We did not say it really started like a very simple solution. But what I like about Biashara Plus, it is a solution that we only have innovated probably 5% of what it is now. The rest of 95% coming from all user feature requests. So we started as a very simple pricing list and people doing calculation of the price list. The rest of it, absolutely, I'll give it credit to the users who are using it, receiving feedback and finding a best way to listen to them and building up the solution. Started in Tanzania with a couple of users. We scaled in Tanzania, demanded in Kenya, demanded in Uganda. Then little by little see like Botswana needing it, Namibia, South Africa, Ghana. It's just amazing. We tell people, if you need to know really this is the solution is really, really impactful to people, shut down the server for 5 minutes.
That's mean.
Yeah, and if something like that happen, you see like the number of calls the customer support they will receive, it will be overwhelming to them.
Don't do that.
No. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens.
Point,
yeah, sometimes it happens, and you get really to receive calls and people get back to office to make sure the application is up and running. And currently this year we are really focusing into pushing our CPaaS platform, communication platform as a service, known as Notify Africa, and looking forward with all the experience and everything that we've learned on what we'll be able to put together this year on the platform. So excited.
Wow. That's one hell of a CV. Nice. So it's interesting. You've had success on Nigeria. You've had success with Chomoka. Had success on Biashara Plus. But there's something you said that before Biashara Plus we failed. It's not common. When you look at Grayson Julius on LinkedIn, you don't think like they failed before. I would love to hear more about that. So what exactly failed and what did you learn from it?
Yeah, so we will say it's more of like a lesson going through entrepreneurship journey. Everything that we're trying to do now, and I'm not saying that is perfect, or everything that we're at least trying to educate partners and fellow founders, trying to innovate in the space, is everything that we did not know early on. So we were hardcore engineers. Me and my partners were software engineers, and all we know the best is, building up coding and believing coding best solution to make people get to use it.
So it's not.
It's not.
Wow.
No, it's not.
It's not like being an engineer is some sort of an advantage.
Yeah, programming and software engineering, honestly,
you speak the language.
It's so easy and so simple and so good to do it. You can very much get attracted to it, and you can. Sometimes I joke with friends here, like, I'm not sure why we get paid building coding, like coding, because sometimes you can get being as a game. The hardest part is on business side. Building software is not difficult. The difficult is on making that software really solve the problem that you need. Is solving meaningful problem.
Yeah.
So we built a solution for almost 8 months, and we did not talk to anyone. It's called African Fashion, by the way.
Okay.
We don't talk to anyone. Everything was based on our imagination. Everything was based on what we know. And trust me, we got into we did pitch presentations. We got mentioned in awards. We got to semi-finalists. We traveled to Nairobi for Pivot East event, and like we were so passionate about it, but little we had spoken with any of the people that we're building for. Well, when you look at it in retrospect, it's like that was very inexperiencing of us now. But you're talking about 10 years ago, where the keyword startup itself, we did not know much about what like this is, You're talking about business model canvas, you're talking about value proposition, and, knowing your user pain and gains, what they want and everything. But back then it was like, well, all we know is Java, and, like, we're just going to code. We're going to code our way with Java. And really, users don't really know even what technology stack you used. What matters to them is it really solving what they are facing? And the lesson there is for you to know that you need to talk to them. You need to really get to know the jobs, activity that they're doing, and their pain point that blocking them from accomplishing what they're accomplishing.
So now that you mentioned it, I'm thinking you're an evangelist on LinkedIn on how you can avoid technical debts. I learned that from you, by the way. I still need more lessons. I don't know what that is. But on technical debts and how somebody can, have better processes in how they approach software development where they are. And you talk a lot about that. And now you're telling us that the user doesn't care about my tech stack. I'm hurt. That's a little bit contradictory. So how important is tech, really, from a scale of 1 to 10?
Not watered down. Yeah. Not watered down. Tech is very important. End of the day, it's like without it, people won't be able to, to even see the life of your solution. What I mean is, if you put in terms of like where in terms of the level of complexity, you can get the tech right. But if you have not gotten the pain point and what you're solving right, the tech will mean nothing. Okay. They need one another.
Yeah.
Very much. And people are so much fixated and getting to think on getting the right technology, right team, the best developers and everything. But if you get to forget from the business side, it's not all about the technology that you get to build. But if you don't get to involve into learning from your users and what you're building for, what you're building won't hold waters.
Nice. That makes perfect sense now. Yeah. So I'll keep reading your posts on LinkedIn on Scrum. I get it. Yeah. Nice. So enough about failure. We learned. That's gone. Yeah, let's talk about the success, the shiny numbers you just mentioned, the 30 plus users and the 2,500 groups. That's amazing. What do you think these successful startups, these successful solutions have in common?
Oh, wow.
Like, as a factor of their success, what did they get right?
Solve the right problems, I would say.
Yeah.
Solve the right problems. Iteratively.
Nice. What is iteration?
Iteratively. Yeah. We because like you could be as well get caught up into wanting to solve the right problem, and the best way to get to know that is getting that solution and putting into people's hands, getting to see how they're using it and receiving that feedback. Remember, I told you about BeAgile Plus, about 95% of the feature that they are currently on the platform, BeAgile Plus, it is all from the user feedback and everything, like based on feature request. And how did you get to that? And the solution itself is very addictive to people who are using it, because they sort of guided based on their pain point and the challenge that they're facing. All right. So you see right now we are using WhatsApp. I like to give this example now and then. And the WhatsApp that we have now and the WhatsApp that we're using now, it initially probably, let's go from the point that they started to solve like the messaging solution, creating a messaging platform to enable people to communicate over internet and enabling people to, do multimedia communication over messages. Before then, it was very expensive with multimedia and everything. They started with very simple solution, simple text message. It goes. That will mean message sent, and they didn't have fancy features you see now. Blue tick, it was not there. Double tick, it was not there.
How did they survive?
Exactly. So like it is just like what is the pain point we're solving here right now? The delivery note was there with normal text messages. Yeah. But what we really need to solve now is enabling this person to send this message over internet and getting feedback from them, and things like Skype, they were there already, so they could borrow a feature of Skype, like enabling people to call, but they stuck with the iteration they had, learning from their user and everything. The time when came the right time to roll out the call feature, they could roll out all it together. Like you do call, you do multiple call, you do video call. Because it's not like innovation or whatsoever there. It's already there in the pipeline. They know it's there. But they will first roll out and call one person. Me and you will call. And if people reject it, it's like, no. We don't want WhatsApp to do calls. We are okay with messaging. Don't go there. Yeah. They would probably have stopped. They would have spent less into building. They would fail fast and will stop there. But what they did is, they rolled out call feature. Then I call you, and if you notice, to date, they do that. When you have a video call, when you finish, they'll ask you, how was your call? How was your call? Rate this 5-star, 2-star, and they get that feedback. They collect that feedback. They do the improvements, and every time they get to iterate. So what they got right, they solved the right problem.
Nice.
And I believe so is every other startup. Successful numbers in the country. Yeah.
Great. So solving the right problem.
I'm
going to sleep on that one tonight.
Yeah.
Solving the right problem.
Yes.
Nice. So on solving the right problem, you hinted at the very beginning that we are now working on a communication platform as a service, CPaaS. Oh my God. You'll teach us that? But I'm really interested in hearing since we've launched to where we are right now, what are the key things you've learned? Because it's like, it's like having another child. What has this new parenting taught you so far? You raised like multiple successful ones before. We're starting again. Anything new you're picking up as you go?
I would really, really wish not to dive much into that, because I'm still so much learning myself. Like when you think you're done and you're not, you still have lessons to learn. Honestly, balancing between go-to-market and building a product, balancing between demand. There's so much demand. Balancing between the new emerging tech space, the artificial intelligence, where you're putting it right, the timing of like how you getting to upgrade the value-added features to your client, and not just having AI there just because of the keyword and everything. So it's so much into juggling, balancing between priorities. The fight between the marketing team and the product team, the engineering team. Yeah. Like we want this now, and I think it is a challenge in its own scale. And I wish to talk about that once we have everything in place, at least a couple of months.
It sounds like in an episode.
Yeah, please repeat that question in next 2 quarters.
Nice. Yeah. I'll keep it, by the way.
I will appreciate you repeating it.
I'm keeping it. But I like how you mentioned AI.
Yeah.
Before we move further, I would love to hear your take on, for employees, it's like AI is going to take your job. But for entrepreneurs, is it a good thing? Is it good news to AI? Is it good news to entrepreneurs? Is it going to make it any easier for the non-techie, How is this emerging tech like making things easier for the non-technical founders, I say, or harder, whatever your take is?
Yeah. So two sides of the coin here.
Yeah.
There are consumers of AI and the builders of AI, and I'm not sure where you want me to venture into here. Like the non-technical people, talking about innovating and building solutions and thinking about how they can be able to build solutions, or in them consuming the product that are already in place into making their entrepreneurship job easier. Like what direction we should go?
I think we do both.
We do both.
People have time.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. Let's start with them as consumers of AI. How does it help?
Yeah. Great question. So one is for entrepreneurs. Let me just talk about non-tech, because now you understand things better. There are things that were a little bit probably take you time to get to research and ideating into things. I'll keep it this very simple: prioritization and writing user stories and acceptance criteria. Oh, I took so much time to train product owners. Like, this is how you write user story. This is how you write acceptance criteria. This is how you do everything. Anyway, so right now, if you have your feature, I'm talking about very simple generative AI. I'm talking about ChatGPT.
Yeah.
ABC. Like right now, it becomes like a calculator. You need to add whatever, you just use ChatGPT, right? So just with something like that, I would say, let's start with writing our requirement better, and let's use the generative tools that are there to use to write better requirements. You see? So, like adding up with what ideally that's very important in the context and everything. I'm not into teaching on best ethics here, but like getting to use it to make your job easier as well, like in research and analyzing the data that you already collected, understanding where there's users are dropping off. Analytics now supposed to be easy, doing it with generative AI and everything in between that. So
okay. And what about the building side?
The building side, like this other side is limitless.
Okay.
It's like there are so many opportunities. If you get to search the number of startups that got built on top of the models like ChatGPT and everything else in between that, it is so many solutions. ChatGPT just by itself offers pricing model and whatsoever, but the solution that get built on top of that is just amazing. I remember like last year Nigeria platform. I'll talk about Nigeria platform a little bit because we embedded AI on the CV building solution in it. So initially it required for people to go in, fill in their details, and if they're in a hurry or whatsoever, maybe just upload their CV there, and it will be a CV. But Nigeria wants raw data about your profile and your CV and everything, but it was almost double work for someone who comes into the platform. They have a CV ready, and then they're being asked questions to fill in their profile. It was difficult. So the innovation comes part of it, like with AI, we can now quickly, easily allow people to upload their CV, scrap the data, and fill in their profile. So you see, the solution now becomes smarter, it becomes quicker. There are so many features and innovations that can be able to be added on to improving and solving the user's pain point with AI. The number of AI solutions that are built every other month right now, or they are being added to the feature. It becomes like almost, if you see a platform and there's a little bit of AI enhancement, I think in a couple of years it will be a little bit problematic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's, in a nutshell, it's like for the ones that are building, if you are not leveraging AI, you're a little bit losing right now. is that it? Like for the ones that are building, as in what you call them, people who are leveraging AI in the building side.
Yeah, in the building side.
So you're saying for those who are not leveraging AI, they're kind of losing.
Yeah, probably not now, but in no time will be rendered irrelevant.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all on AI. That was very technical for me, at least. I need to go study a bit on AI. But let's go back to building these businesses. Okay. You watched countless products, two of which you mentioned grow, not just in country, but also across borders, right? And from that journey, do you believe building a startup, like a software solution in Africa, is a disadvantage?
No.
No?
No.
It's not.
No.
So is it an advantage, or are we just like at the same level as, someone in the Western?
Well, they have their own advantages, honestly.
Yeah.
The VC funds, the funds are there, and the level of exposure and everything.
Yeah.
But there's no way I would say it is disadvantages building a digital a startup, a tech startup in Africa. There's no way that is being you take that as disadvantage. For me, it's a great opportunity because there's so much to be done.
Nice.
There's so much to be digitalized. There's so much opportunity. So if someone gets to combine this level of exposure from the already developed countries and bringing it back here, and there's so much opportunity to building localized product and solution that will fit within our culture and fitting the way we get to do things. There's so much opportunity.
And you believe the people are ready for that?
Who, the builders?
The consumers might not.
The consumers are there just waiting for the solution to come.
Okay.
So like the point of readiness, you could wait. Either you want to build Uber or Bolt, or you wait for, another Silicon Valley startup to bring that here. And then you see they'll consume it, because they just get to customize and fit in their product, and they'll be able to consume it. So people are ready for advancement. It's just the choice of whether the innovators and the builders in this market, to bring them or not. But people are ready. Yeah.
Now, how do I know if I'm solving the right problem?
As an entrepreneur?
Yeah, like what are the indicators?
The indicators is okay. So tricky question, but I think let me roll back a little bit. Is like, how do you get to finding at least the right problem, right?
Yeah.
So there's a very simple model, I'll say. I've been using it, and with our team here, we use it mostly on digital transformation. It's very simple, it's very straightforward. It's called value proposition canvas. So the value proposition canvas has these two areas: the customer profile and the value proposition. All right. Now, the customer profile is where, now with your users that you need to get innovate and build solutions for, you look at what jobs are they doing. They are the so-called customer jobs. Like, what are the activities that they're doing? So you get to map out those activities, A to Z of what they're doing. The next thing will be like, what challenges do you get to face in every of these activities? So I'll give an example. I mentioned about, Uber and Bolt, the ride-sharing solutions, ride-sharing solutions. Now, in the developed countries, like us, you take a boda or whatsoever, they used to find taxis should be passing by, calling a taxi will come, and it is only when you wait for a taxi to pass, and then when you'll be able to find a taxi, or if you call an agent, calls a taxi for you or something like that. For our case, it will be you have your boda guy, or you have your Bajaj guy, the three-wheelers, or you have your tax driver you call. But if the tax driver is parking 5 or 3 kilometers away from your home, so all of the pricing will be high because you have to pay them coming to your place and now taking to the other place. All right. Now, what are the jobs? What are the customer jobs you now as a customer or as a passenger needing to go from point A to point Z? What do you do to get to accomplish that? All right. You pack your things, you are ready. You want to go, you go outside, either you call someone to come pick you up, take a boda or whatsoever. Those are the activities, right? Or you take a public transport. And why public transport? Maybe because it's affordable. Why not a taxi? So you list those activities. Now, through those activities, there are challenges that you go through. All right.
Yeah.
And how can you be able, those are called pain points. The taxi is very expensive. Boda is very risky. Like the driver do not come up on time. The tax I come, it's not guaranteed that's going to be clean. And then I'm not sure if, there are many things in between that. So then you get to identify those pain points. Now that's like prioritizing them in the order, which one hurts most, which one is more painful than another, and trying to creating gains. So like 3 columns: customer jobs, pain point, and gains. What are wishes? What are your wishes? What do you wish it could be done better with this solution, or like with the current jobs and activity that you're doing? So after getting that, then you'll be able to get the other value creating side, the left side. Now that is like thinking about pain relievers and gain creators, creating those solution to those pain that you identified, and you end up with having service, product, features that are resulted out of that. Then you get a huge list of features. You need to go through ideation process and design process to get to confirm if the pain reliever that you're building or thinking that to build at least the closest and the right one. So I'll put it in that way. And it's a very common known framework, value proposition canvas. And for me, I think it's simple enough to help you understand the pain point, and it will eventually, I believe, if done right, it will lead to you solving the right problem.
Great. Now, not that I'm confused.
Yeah.
Let's think I totally understood everything you said.
Yeah.
But I'm still stuck on when you started. You're like, you need a customer profile. Do I just pick a person? I could say, here's my mom, and then I start analyzing her activities. Like, in my mind until now, it was, I pick an industry, probably like oil and gas, and then the oil and gas, I pick a person. For you put it like, I pick a person. So what comes first? I just need to get that right.
No, so maybe I jump too quick to get into a person, really. But ideally, is like you're solving a problem in a certain niche. Okay. If it's transport, it's a transport niche. You need to know the player there, the stakeholders, and everybody. And probably if it is let's pick up a simple solution that everyone can relate. Yeah. So we're talking about maybe a school management system. Sure. So that is like you've already picked. Like I'm going to focus on education center. Yeah. An education center, I'm going to focus on like automating school activities and processes. Now you need to understand the owner of the school's activities, the pain point that they're going through, the gains, and then eventually creating a solution. Okay. All right. You're going to understand the headmaster, the teachers, and everybody, the parent, the student. Now, so those are the individual profiles. Yeah. Together, you get pain point for each profile. So if you're creating a solution for student in a school, you'll find that specific niche and area and talk about their pain point challenges and everything in between. Sure. So it's not like you have one value proposition cover for the entire solution. It is based on the stakeholder that you're going to be engaged in that solution. Okay. So for a solution area we spoke about, like Bolt or Uber, there was like 2 customer profile there. There's maybe a car owner, there's a driver, and there's a customer, that the passenger that they need the ride. So those will be different profiles, and maybe the problem or the pain point for the driver will be different from the pain point for the customer. The driver will say like, there are no customers and I'm staying all day. I don't get like calls or whatsoever. While the customer is complaining about the same thing. So these people need each other, but they just can't find one another. So it's creating now, I get this pain point, this point. I create a solution for these people to be able to find one another. So you see,
Yeah.
so something like that.
No, that's nice. I like how you put it. So we pick a context as in an industry, and in that industry we choose the people we want to target, and then they find one another.
Yeah.
For both, not for everybody. Okay. So these people found one another.
Yeah.
We have our ideas on paper, right? And I know from this small experience I've had, you can also add to it. Getting this idea from paper to something you can actually log into. Hey, my friends. Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like it could be for someone who's out there. They don't know how to code or anything. They just have solution on paper. They've nailed that down. They know who they want to talk to. They have the right problem. How do you get to the solution?
How do you get to the solution?
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. Do I do it myself? That's the first question. Maybe not. How do I know who can do it better? How do I get to a solution?
Nice.
Yeah.
So you have done the ideation and discovery. You have a list of solution. You have a list of features, you say, or prioritizing in the right order. There's a whole topic there in between, which I'm not sure we have time to cover that. But you've prioritized in the order of these are pain point, and I'm going to start with these critical ones here. Now, based on your research, talking to your customer, and based on what you have. Now, moving forward from that, there's something that you need to get to build and getting people to start using your solution, an MVP, your minimal viable product. So your minimal viable product, it is that sweet spot between what you see as your dream solution and what you have on paper now. So something in between, functional enough for people to give you feedback, tangible enough for people to use it and start giving you feedback. It's not a proof of concept. It's a little bit advanced from a proof of concept, because your proof of concept will be a little bit of a design, a prototype you have, and you confirm with people, how do you see about this? How does this look like? That is a proof of concept. Now, an MVP, it is that sweet spot between your dream solution and what you have on paper, like raw ideas that you have. Now, getting to build that, first, it's good platform to experiment your solution and hear feedback from your customers. And all these solutions we've used, most of them, they had an MVP first.
Yeah.
Put in on our hands and started using them, and little by little we giving feedback, either by knowing or not knowing, and we get to build on top of that and help them build. Remember what I told you about Biashara Plus?
Yeah.
Our MVP was that 5%.
Yeah.
It was a very simple solution. Very simple solution. Now people started using it, and now if they get, if you have pressed the right buttons, if you have solved the right pain point, people start giving you ideas.
Okay.
Now the vision that you have now becomes not yours. Getting to you knowing that you're solving the right problem when people are adding up to your ideas.
Right.
You're starting to share up that vision. So hey, can you add up on this? Can you add on this? Okay.
Now
Now they have, now we're solving something.
Yeah.
Can you add up on this? Now you know, you're getting into the right direction.
Okay.
I'm not talking about your mom and friends.
Come on, my mom counts.
Your mom counts, yes. But if she is your customer that you're targeting, because we have this thing in our country.
Yeah.
Friends, you find comments on Google Play. So mwanangu umetisha sana. This is very good.
Yeah.
It's kali sana. This is nice. That person has not even opened login screen.
Yeah.
They've just seen it kali sana.
Oh, Miss Jackson, your best friend.
Utafika mbali. So now ending up into is it solving really the right problem?
Sure.
Now you get all these vanity metrics and the hype on social media, and now you're featured on the newspaper, you get interviewed and everything. Now you get caught up with those metrics, and little you are not.
You're lost.
You are lost. You're lost with the hype.
The problem,
far away from the problem.
Sure.
Yeah, because of what people get to say. So you have, going back to your question, is you have your raw idea. Get help. If you're a non-technical person, get a technical person who will help you guide building a solution.
Sure.
If it is a software development firm, well and good.
Yeah.
If you can hire good developers, well and good. And having them help you build first your MVP. It is so tempting. It is so tempting to build everything.
Yeah.
Wanting to have everything in there. But you need to be able to be specific, separating from wants and needs. Nice to have things, put them aside, focus on the core values. Remember what support I told you about. They could build all these nice to have features while they're thinking about the solution, but they started specifically with let's get this message out. Let's enable this person to send this message, and that's it. Let's wait for the feedback.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
They'll give you feedback. Give feedback. I'm sure many other features came either based on user requests or whatever that will come.
Yeah.
If you're pressing the right buttons, you get ideas.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, you reminded me, you are the business development director for one of the largest software development houses in Africa. That is IPF Softwares. Yay, our proud sponsors. So, yeah. And I remember at the very beginning when we were starting, you mentioned that getting the technical part of your solution is good, but there's the business part of it, which is very equally important, if not more, and just so hectic. So I would love to dive more into the business part, leveraging the fact that you do business for a living. You do that for a living, yes. I have an MVP. Doesn't mean my mom's gonna use it. Exactly. How do I get people to use it? Like, how do I get people to use it? Not just that, but enough for me. Somebody putting in there $1, $2, making it like viable for business. How do I get to that point?
Yeah. So, well, if you get people to pay you $1 for your MVP, you've made it.
Oh, okay.
Like if people giving up your money, like for an MVP, you're in the right direction, right? I will not even. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking different about this, but I will not even talk about people paying for your MVP. I'm talking about people using your MVP.
Yeah.
Like if you get people to get to use your MVP and give you feedback, that's a good direction. Meaning you're solving something, you're solving a right problem. Now, speaking about getting it out there, you had the targeted niche, you spoke to people, you engaged people. That's the beauty about it. Like you involved people through the direction. All right. Now, if you get people to the same people, like, so we spoke about this, can try to use it and see, like, just use it for free. Because ideally, the value that they give is more than $1 because they're giving you like actual feedback. Now, if they get to use it, they're giving you actual early feedback. These are so-called early adapters of your solution. And these are people who are setting up the foundation into taking up your solution to the next level. And everyone starts somewhere. You need to get, like Facebook started with like university dormitory, and I don't know, like everyone knows that story. Started with one university, moving to another university, and later, have, I don't know, billion users across the continent, across the world, right?
Yeah.
Now, you need to get to start somewhere.
Yeah.
The best people to start with, the people that you spoke about with their pain point, is MVP. The point of MVP is validating your idea, validating your vision, validating all these are theoretical. The pain point we spoke about, all these are probably theoretical, and probably they're not even pain points. But I didn't know it hurts this much. Like if someone goes to use it, but I'll stick to my own ways.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay. So you need to get that feedback, invaluable feedback from the early people that you spoke about.
So, Grayson, I agree with you. Feedback is important, but we have bills to pay. So, we have bills to pay, Grayson. Feedback doesn't pay my bills. All I'm saying is, when is too soon to put a price on it?
When is too soon to put a price on it?
When is the right time to put a price on it? I need to live, man.
they when like different school of thought, they say price early as you can. And possibly in some circumstances that is valid. I'll need you to give me a little bit of context so that I can respond to that better. Now, tell me about the business that you're building. Tell me about the solution that you're trying to innovate, and let's work together to finding like maybe at least the timing. All right. Yeah. So you are an innovator here. Now give me something that you're building, and let's work together from having that from scratch to getting an MVP. And maybe we can at least get to a point like, now we can get to build.
All right. Let me try.
Go for it.
Let's go back to the school management system you introduced, right?
Sure.
So I have an attendance, a software, just like something to simplify attendance. Guys, don't steal my idea. We're going to simplify attendance here. This is patented. All right. I've spoken to St. John and St. Anne's, and the school teachers have given me, like I engaged them. It's not, it was not easy to get them to use it, but they kind of gave it a look. They gave me a few ideas on how I could make it better. Now I have my attendance app. I would say it's MVP ready. Where do I go from there? Yes, where do I go from there? Do I go back to the same school teachers with a price on it, or how do I take it from here? I'm stuck there actually.
So let me go back to that a little bit. The school teachers gave you that you did the user profile and the value proposition canvas with them, understanding their pain point.
Yes,
and that pain point led you to
come up with they need an attendance.
They need attendance.
They need to drop the papers and kind of like put on.
So I think it's time now you go to validate that idea, like to validate the pain point, because they gave you pain points.
Yeah.
You understand their jobs. They gave you pain points of what they are going through.
Yeah. And
you, as an innovator, you went back with your team. You ideated. You then created the solution. You came up with the so-called pain relievers, gain creators, and the service and features of the solution. Now that is your attendance app you have. All right. Now all that you have, you need to get to validate it. If it is really solving the pain point, or is it adding up to their pain point? Because chances are it could as well be adding to their pain point. It could be taking time. It could be eating up their bundle. It could be, it's unrealistic for me to mark attendance where the students are running all over the place and everything. Sure. This is so difficult. I better stick to counting, So you need to validate that idea. The best person to validate with, you be the first person who welcomed you at the first place.
Okay.
So you go back to them.
Yeah.
You go back to them and it will be a good story, like, hey guys, so remember me? I was here 3 months ago, we spoke about this, and I've come up with something, and I wish for you guys to test this, because now we're making a request, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're going to ask for them, like, I need you to test this and you're going to pay me $1,000 for testing it.
No.
You're not going to do that, right? Yeah. So
you see, you mentioned it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get to ask.
Yeah, because you're asking for a favor by then.
Exactly.
You're not giving them any value. There's a way you can package it. This is a $50K.
Yeah.
But we've paid for it so that you can use it for free, so that they know there's a value in it. Yeah. Yeah. So but we need you to test, and some people go length and they pay the data for those people to use the solution. So they be able to receive feedback. So you give them, they use it, they give feedback. All right.
Yeah.
And probably, I think most solutions, they have this so-called trial period.
Yeah.
So you can put up that this is a trial period.
How long?
Sorry?
How long?
For how long?
Yeah.
No, like you. Yeah, I can't say specific. I can say 3 months. I can say 1 month, but really depending on the readiness of your solution. Is it ready? Because when people are giving you their money, it is painful, my friend.
I think
someone can't pay you 10,000 or 5,000, and you promise them you will receive a notification if your students are not coming, and the server is down every morning. People will demand their money back.
Yes, you said something really nice, that when it is ready, I think I should stick to that.
Yeah.
How do I know it's ready? At this point, it's in their hands. They have agreed to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you need to know when it's ready.
Yeah.
When they use it, when they are hooked to it.
Yeah.
When they get, when that solution becomes, you remember when you spoke about jobs?
Yeah.
So if you build a solution that has been integrated to them not being able to complete certain jobs without going to your solution, now the solution is ready.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah. I get you. It's kind of like how whenever I think of moving, I just think of requesting, and if both is not up, I just don't know what to do.
You don't know what to do, right? Yeah. If you want to call, you want to text right now, you probably go on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And if WhatsApp is down, you'll be mad about it.
Yes.
You don't know what to do. And
exactly.
like, I'm going to call this person. I'm going to text them, and I want to know if they've received it. I need to know if they read it. I need to know if they read it.
Yeah, this day open needs to have somewhere to start, like you're
open my message, you see.
Yeah.
So you then when that becomes an integral part into the way people are doing things, the solution is ready.
Nice. So I have to be very patient. Okay.
You need to be patient, really patient. The problem, I would say, sorry, I'm jumping into this here, is most entrepreneurs, they would want to make money really quick. And because I'm investing in tech and I will need to get to see this return very quick. I'll tell you honestly, no. I don't know, some instance, yes. But
mostly.
I need to be patient a little bit and getting to really solve the problem and get going. Yeah.
Wow.
People pay for it.
Thank you for busting my bubble. I'll set more realistic timelines with my attendance app, which you crashed. But yeah, so that is the business side. We're going to come back to that. There is the technical side of things, but before we get there, something I don't want to forget. How do I balance passion with all this? Is passion really important? I don't know. I'm a passionate person. I bring passion into everything. So thinking about I'm working on something that I'm not passionate about, really soul crushing. How important is being passionate with a problem you're trying to solve? Like, at some point, do I drop the passion and keep the right problem, or do I drop the problem and find something that aligns with my passion? Or am I being too emotional?
You're being too emotional, but like...
Come on, that was a joke. So you say no.
I don't blame you for a number of reasons, but that people are thinking about this differently. Passion drives, what you're building and everything, but does it really matter? Is it about you, or is it about the people that you're solving problems for?
Well, the right answer is it's for the people.
Yeah, so I think if you're being very passionate about solving problems and solving the right problems, and like ideally innovating and creating solutions that will help people move from one place to another, I think that will give you joy. And so there is a point of doing something that you're passionate about, because imagine if you get to invest into logistic business and you're not passionate about logistic, eventually you get tired. I think end of the day, passion is what gives us motive to drive and move forward. And the passion of solving problems and innovating and creating solutions could be in any other area. But if it is an area that you're more experienced and more passionate about, and like I've seen doctors, people who have background in medicine, investing in technology, and they have greater chance because now they're not only investing in technology, but they're just passionate about medicine and everything about healing and I don't know what, unlike you who studied computer science, starting to think and innovating something about health, because the learning curve now will be a little bit steep. You need to learn about tech, then you need to learn about entrepreneurship, then you need to learn about medicine, right? So it's not stopping someone from innovating to things about transport and things like that. I bet the founder of solutions like talking about Bolt and Uber here, they are not in transport business. Maybe they just had an idea and like looking at the space and like, I'm going to solve this problem for myself and my family, and eventually we'll pick up there. But passion is important to that. And the business domain is as well very important.
Okay.
Like the business, the knowledge about the business domain that you're going to invest in.
Sure.
That's crucial.
Yeah. So thank you for validating the conception I had on passion. Thank you. I know that's also important.
Yeah.
Now, Grayson, my attendance thing.
Your attendance.
Speaking up. Okay. They've given me feedback, and I've put people on freemium model for over a year. Finally, I got someone to pay for it. Things are getting a little bit serious, and I need to have, at this point, I believe, a good technical base. Probably a full-time technical team, something like that. Now, that's where the chaos starts. Yeah, I'm not techie. So, first things first, do you believe I should get a technical co-founder? Or can I just live without one? What would be the best route to go here?
A really tricky question.
Advice, yeah.
It's not a yes and no question. To be honest, really, when it comes to partnership, there's more, like the technical part is like being a technical founder, or like you're non-technical and a technical founder or not. It's just one piece of a big puzzle. There's character in there. There's passion you mentioned about. There's a vision alignment. There's personality. There's so many things coming up together to put that in context. So I am not in belief of going out there and saying like, hey everyone, I'm looking for a technical co-founder. I believe people have done that. There are people who successfully did that. Good for them. There are people who have done that and it has almost led all other startup, died because of that.
Okay.
Yeah. But, you say your startup now is making money.
Yeah.
Do you have a team in-house? Or have you hired, or have you built your solution with a tech company?
I have 2-3 freelancers on the side.
You have 2-3 freelancers?
Yes.
And they're all working part-time?
Yeah, but I feel like it's not sustainable now. I plan on going big, getting somebody in-house. Yeah, but before taking that step, should I involve someone?
And you're completely not understanding tech, you're non-technical?
Yes, and probably I don't plan to.
You don't plan to?
Yeah.
That's a good one. All right. Now let's put it this way. How much time of your day do you get to invest into building your startup?
On my startup?
Yeah, like in your day, 8 hours. How much time do you invest?
So I work on a 9 to 5. So let's say it's my 5 to 9.
It's your 5 to 9.
Every time I'm not on my job, I'm on my startup.
So it's your the hours that you're tired and you're not putting much time, and your freelancers are working during daytime, right?
I do some coffee.
You do some coffee?
Yeah.
Well, that's not enough. Like you are, like a good friend of mine who said, like you're side hustling your startup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So first, I'll say, and I've shared about this recently on my LinkedIn, as you say, is I'll say hire a product owner.
Okay.
First. All right.
Nice. Yeah.
Now, the product owner will be a person who will be able to bridge a gap between your 9 to 5 and your freelancers. Someone who will be able to follow up on those 2 devs that you have, making sure they get to deliver on time.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who will be able to be there to listen to you when you work on these, 5 to 9, 5 to whatever, like a night, and like, hey, this is my dream, and this is someone who will be able to send you send a voice note, and someone you can have a meeting with over the weekend, and this is what I need to be. This is a vision this is the direction that we're going through. These are the features that I see people are. This is a person who will go out there and talk to the teachers again.
Yeah.
Like, because you're busy with other stuffs. And probably the money that you get on your 9 to 5, it is the money that you get to finance your startup. So probably you're not ready to stop now because you need something to, keep you running. So this person, you say, like, for your startup is like almost an administrator. but now helping to clean up and give direction to the product on your behalf.
Nice.
While you're not there, this person will help guide the dev team. This person will test what the dev team has done.
Okay.
This person will keep your dev team in check so that they don't get, because the time that the dev team notice that you don't have much time in your product, they'll bullshit you in other things that they've done and they've not done it.
Sure.
All right.
So product owner comes first.
Your product owner will come first.
Yeah.
And I know you asked about a technical co-founder or whatsoever, but you say you've already started making money, something like that. I'll say maybe a product owner, then hiring someone who is a little bit senior, a senior software engineer.
Okay.
Yeah. There's an importance of like a partner, a technical founder, definitely. But due to the trickiness and the level and entanglement that you get into that, I will say I will be a little bit hesitant to advise you directly to go into that route.
Yeah, so one thing that's interesting, you framing this partnership as a Christian marriage, man.
It is.
You're making me
upset.
But you've been doing this for over 10 years.
Yeah.
With 2 people, you know. Not just 1, 2. How did you do it? Like,
with Jackson and Nelson.
Yeah, you've been doing that. And somehow, for someone from the outside, you feel like this is the magic combination. Maybe to make it, we need to be 3. That's how it looks like. And now you're telling me, nah, go with the hiring part. No, come on now.
Apparently, I preach that.
Yeah.
I say it's 3 for me.
Yeah.
Like for founders and partners, I so much believe there's 3 is a magic number. And to answer your question, how did we do it? It is like, I think we go back 12 years, if not 13 years. So we became friends, colleagues, and peers, programmers. We did so much before founding IPF.
Yeah.
We built so much games and trial applications before founding IPF, So that became for us is like we were friends first.
Yeah.
And close friends. Then we started our business at university, and little by little, I think we realized we have our weaknesses, and each other's weakness is not another person's weakness. Is like strength and complementing one another. So I think that built us. Like we've been complementing one another from the get-go. In the area that we are not the best at and the other person is best at. All right. Now, it's started even from the engineering point of view. Like, it's not only in business, even from engineering point of view, our strengths were different. I loved front end and design. I love the good looking things, and I would love the button to have a certain curve. I would love the animations to be there and everything. Nelson was quite opposite. Nelson would want to work on the logic part and want to work on the server to be working and that part. And Jackson was so passionate about everything else, mobile, everything else, Java, desktop, everything else, and it was more on that itself. Like we got to be better at other areas that we are good at, and knowing like Jackson got this, and trusting him. No, Nelson got this and trusting him. And going back to saying like 3 is a magic number, because in partnership it's a marriage, and we get to argue a lot. We argue, and we don't get to fight, but we argue. And the magic comes when it will be always 1 against 2, or 2 against 1, if I put it, because it could be that 1 against 1 and another person is neutral. And we say this as a joke, is like we're trying to convince that other person on the merits and the good arguments, like convincing you to get on my side. These are my points, and Nelson will try to do the same, or Jackson will try to do the same. And the winning part, not necessarily like the people the side that has 2 people will win it's just getting to listen. I think idea is like convincing the other person to say like, you know what, I think I'm leaning into him and more. And that's how we get into most decisions when there is indifferences. So if it was true, I think it would be a little bit tricky because you lose once, twice, 3 times, and you start realizing your ideas are not good as your fellow partner. Then you're starting to look down in yourself. But yeah, 3 I think works for us. I believe,
Yeah, you guys got lucky. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely, yeah. Lucky, huge part of it.
Even with the names.
Even with the names, yeah. We realized that late.
But I hear you. You. You guys had an alignment of characters way before the business came.
Absolutely.
And that's very important.
Absolutely, yeah.
Nice. All right. Now back to the technical part.
Yeah.
As we say, things are getting serious. You told me to hire a product owner.
Yeah.
Now I'm hiring.
You're hiring.
And I'm hiring.
Yeah.
So the product owner is managing a development team. That's where the tricky part comes. How do I spot a good developer? Yeah. I don't know code.
You don't know code?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tricky. It's not easy, and it's becoming harder and harder by day.
Yeah.
Like serious is becoming harder. Due to the AI and everything, because you know, like people now can get their way out even with assignments, right? Now, I would say it is like hiring for every other position. What you look first is good attitude, willingness to learn, passion, and everything. So right now, I think going back to those fundamentals, someone could be not a very good developer, but they could be juniors starting up into learning and starting up to pick up things and putting here and there, but they have a very good passion and they're very much willing to learn and they have a great attitude. You can better polish that and moving forward. Yeah. But if you really need to get someone who is senior, experienced, I think it's okay to ask for help. Ask for help for colleagues and friends who you can't hire because they are either somewhere else and they're very expensive or they are not looking for jobs or something, and like, hey, I need to hire a developer, and you know, you are my technical friend. I know you are talking. Like, can you help me interview this person? Yeah. You know, you can do that as well. Getting review is good as well. You know, like someone who have you worked with? Can I talk to that person we've worked with? Sometimes be tricky because probably someone has worked with only one person, and you can talk to that person because they're their current employee and stuff like that. But I think asking around is good. Asking for reference is good. Asking for someone who is technical enough to help you read between the BS of someone will be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting in a friend.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So while I'm hiring, screening, Grayson, you're a big evangelist of Scrum. Yes, you make a big deal out of it. I don't know why. Can you in a nutshell tell me what that is like, first of all?
So going back to Agile, as like we are in BeAgile Podcast here, Agile is a methodology that allows people to build their solution iteratively. Okay. There are principles of Agile that like be responsive to change, talk to customer, listen to customer, and everything between that. Now, Agile by itself, practicing it, it's very chaotic because we say like, listen to customer feedback. Your customer now, you are building your attendance app and you have everything figured out and you're going to work on 1 month, you know what you're working on, right? Now your customer calls you and it's like, there's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And because Agile tells you need to be responsive to change, you're tempted now to stop everything that you're doing and jump into that change. Yeah. All right. And then comes in, you go to a meeting or an event, you meet an investor, a banker, and they tell like, your idea is very good, but it will be very better if you can twist it in this direction. You can add in a fintech element there. It will be very good. And I think I know some people will be able to invest. Then you have a feedback from your actual customers, then you have feedback from potential investor, and you have your own burning dreams and vision. And you need to all put them with your development team to be able to test. And you changing direction here and there because you're being agile and you're adapting to change. Little you know you're lost. The investor that promised you something is not there. And you are hurting your customer and everything between that, and your product is lost. Now, here is where the frameworks come. So Scrum is a framework. It is a framework to help you structure your agile. And I'm not saying it's perfect. It has its weaknesses, its downfalls. Like, there's so much. But for me, it's like taking it as a foundation to set up, at least to give you guidance. If it's not Scrum, use any other framework you can use. There are many of them. Extreme programming, Kanban, there are so many of them. You can take Scrum, customize the way you want so that it can fit in your environment. That's okay. But you need a framework. You can't just be doing Agile.
Okay.
It's chaotic.
Nice.
All right. So Scrum, it is a framework. It is an Agile framework that help you build your solution in a proper structured way. It is specific event, specific sprint time, specific clear roles and everything between that. All right. And that will at least help you setting up that foundation of building up your solution. Early on, I said hire a product owner. So product owner probably is not a very common role out there because it is born out of Scrum. Scrum popularized that much. In a traditional way, you say that is your product manager.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, your product manager in Scrum, they call that person a product owner, meaning like this person will be holding the vision and, owning the vision, moving the product, moving forward. Right. So, now you starting putting that structure. You need now if the product gets bigger, you need now a Scrum master to help them manage the team. You need your development team there and everything in between moving on. But Scrum will help you because remember the problem that I said earlier, having the investor coming up with requirement, your user coming up with the requirement, yourself and your team, you have your own burning desires.
Yeah.
Scrum will help you prioritize and saying we are working on this for this sprint, and we are not going to change unless someone is breaking a leg. So we are going to work on that. At least you have a focus. At least you know what you're working on in that sprint. Once that is done and there's someone there with so much needing to be done, you can put it in a pipeline to be working on the next sprint.
Okay.
If it is, but it had at least waited. The beauty about that window, it gives you time to think. It gives you time gives you that buffer to marinate the idea. It gives you that buffer to think, really, do you want to put your money because you're going to pay your freelancers eventually, and whether what you're building is going to work or not.
Yeah.
So you need to it gives you time to think about your return on investment. Should I build this? Will this give me money now? Will this mean something to my user? Is this solving a certain pain point to my user? Or is it just nice to have? Am I losing direction building this or not? So that buffer of 2 weeks gives you time to think. So in 2 weeks, if you really think what you need to build is really that important, then put it up there for people to build.
Nice. I love how what you've been saying from the beginning all adds up to we need to stick to solving the right problem.
Yep.
We need to be focusing. It shows that you're not lying. If someone is consistent, they repeat the same thing. So you're an honest person, I can say. Thank you for the honesty.
Yeah.
So I brought that up because if I do manage to hire, right, I'm going to have a team. It's not going to be 2 developers. Again, things are getting more serious. Now I have 5 or 6 in-house. And as you said in the beginning, it can get tough balancing the business aspect of things and the technical aspect of things. And they both need to go in sync. Right? So my worry is once we have that development team in-house and we have 6 to 7 people, we have that product owner, is Scrum coming to make things easier, really? Because as we said, I have the business part, I have the technical part to balance here. and you're adding to me Scrum.
Mm.
How is this making things easy for me? Like, is it really putting down weight on the technical aspect of things?
Yeah.
How?
First, congratulations. Your team is growing.
Thank you. Yeah.
So you with 7 people in there, without proper order and prioritization, is going to be chaotic. You know, little you know, if you as a visionary or product owner, you don't have a clear pipeline of features that you're going to work on. Then the developers are going to work on nice to have things. They're going to build up things that they think is good, you know, because you've not given them direction. To be honest, the developers are just there waiting for you to, like, this is where we are going. This is what we're building. Let's get to build. All right. If you leave it up to them, if you don't have enough time for you or enough structures to help and guide you, to guide your team, it will going to be chaotic.
Okay. All right. So the bigger the team, the more I need Scrum. It's actually a need now.
Yeah. Again, let's not get caught here with definition.
Yeah.
Is the more you need a framework.
The more I need.
It could be Scrum. It could be any other framework.
Yeah.
All right. Scrum is just most popular Agile framework. But ideally, you need a framework. So whatever framework you have, you know, like I know like companies, a startup like Spotify, when they started, they took Scrum, twisted it, then you find the Spotify model, which is a twisted Scrum. I'm not sure. I think later on it probably did not work. Yeah. And they twisted it to other things. But like you find something that will work for you. You know, probably you have a small team, you can go with Kanban.
Great. So at this point, I have a lot to ask. But just something which I do not wish that we leave without answering, Grayson, now that we're preparing to. I have a big team, right? And the product is doing pretty good. But we're still in TZ. You've put products across borders, and I believe it's everybody's dream, someone's listening to this, to cross those borders, those same borders. How do we go international? How do we scale to those levels?
How do you get to scale?
Yeah.
Business-wise, right?
Yeah.
So
sure. We could start there.
Yeah. There are many ways, but like, have you really satisfied, like the pain point that you're working on, going back to that? You've solved that all, and you have a team and people are using it on demand. This market is done. You saturated probably or whatsoever. Going up to the next market, well, you need like, okay, you need to have people on ground at least for some point to, you know, go back and understand the processes. In some areas. Let's say you're innovating, you're doing innovation in education. It's very highly regulated area. If you don't know, is very regulated. If you do the education system in Tanzania, and in terms of policies, is different from Kenya and Uganda and Rwanda. So you need to be able to understand the market that you want to expand into, unless your solution is, I don't know, but you need to get to understand that, and looking at people who are there, the solution there, and the opportunity for you to get in there. And some customization will be needed. But first, before going there, I would say making sure your solution is properly ready for scaling. You don't have issues. You're not dealing with bugs, and your database and your architecture is not built to scale. Thinking about scaling just on business is going to crash on the little that you have. All right. So it's making sure if you've figured out your tech, is on the right place. Scaling to another part, I think, for me it's doable. For us, as for solution that we've seen, is of course involved us to get there in the ground and getting to learn. Some of them came in demand, like we've seen this and we need it. Some of them, it was for us pursuing that partnership, like finding a local partner there, and we need to get to come into this market and getting advisory and everything in between that. Yeah.
Nice. Just curious, is the pursuing part of it, isn't that capital intensive?
It is, but I believe you're making money now. You've hired 7 developers.
Much.
Not that much.
Talking about borders.
It is capital intensive, yes. It is capital intensive.
So how do we?
Have you broken even?
Let's say we are, we're making a little bit of profit.
You're making a little bit of profit. Yeah. So expanding to new market is either maybe you want to make a little bit more of a profit.
Definitely.
And looking at the OPEX, operation costs needed for you to be able to go there. There are some solutions that need people to be on the ground for solution to get to really work. But there are solutions that they don't need people on the ground. WhatsApp, I'm not sure if WhatsApp came here, to say like we are launching in Tanzania or something. They didn't need that, But both needed to establish an office. Uber, the same, needed to establish an office here. They needed to do some tweaks here and there based on the policies and regulations. They needed to talk to the government authority. They needed to, accommodate things like mobile money payment, cash payment, and things like that. Not every solution needs that. So not every scaling means it will be high on investment. Yeah.
Nice. Hey, give me hope. Maybe I'll be the next WhatsApp. But so Grayson, there's a lot, there's a lot to learn from you, and this episode hasn't even scratched that surface. But the good thing is, you recently announced a mentorship program. Can you tell us a bit of how that works, and if someone is interested, what is it they should do to keep on learning more from you?
Yeah, so it was honestly something that I've been needing to do it a while back. Hence IPF Academy. And IPF Academy right now is focusing on very specific things. We're going to announce them later in the future. But thought that quest I have inside with my partners of a passion of seeing more solutions, sharing a little bit of what we have learned. And as well, I think for me, it's an opportunity to learn with my team, like it's teaching is learning, and I'm open for that. So I've already started doing the reviews for the people who applied, received a number of applications. So going to pick 3. I believe 3 is a good number I can be able to manage. So going to pick up 3 and going to work with them for a quarter. So a quarter of April to June 2025. Then, depending on this, how this goes, going to call in another, and maybe another, and maybe another, and I don't know. Let's see where this takes us.
Nice.
Yeah, but I'm excited to have shortlisted people to work with.
Nice. Yeah. So applications are closed for now.
Applications were closed 2 weeks ago.
But we should be looking forward to
another one,
third quarter.
Yeah, another one will be in the third quarter.
Nice.
Really depends on the lesson that I get to learn on this one.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Nice. I think that's good news, not just for me, but for a lot of people out there. And closing note, I would say you have given me a very great experience on this seat, so it's been nice having you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Margarita.
All right.
Awesome.
Hey, thank you for making it this far. Hopefully you've picked up a lot of valuable lessons that you can start working on right now. And if you found this valuable, please do share with a friend, and so that they can join this wagon of innovators and entrepreneurs to take this ecosystem further. We'd love to see you guys again here. Bye-bye.